There's incredible new research that shows vitamin D may be the key supplement to preventing cancer. Imagine that, a vitamin. There are more than 1,000 clinical studies currently underway studying all the benefits of vitamin D. But as many as 50% of Americans, that's right, half of all of us, are vitamin D deficient. So making sure you are getting enough is one of the simplest and smartest things you can do to prevent cancer. So I sent my medical team out to test a sample of women in our audience. We wanted to see who was lacking in vitamin D. And we found the lowest candidate, and she's coming up right now, Allison. How are you, Allison?
Thank you.
All right. So results are in, and you lost. Right? Your number is low, but I'm going to explain why vitamin D is so important and give you some tips to help identify what you can do about it. Let me start with an animation. I'm going to explain how vitamin D is made. Okay, very simply. So, here's what happens. You're sitting out there, you're enjoying yourself, and the sun hits your skin. As it hits the skin, it takes the cholesterol, which is underneath the tip layer of the skin. Those UV rays penetrate into the blood vessels there, and the cholesterol molecule, watch it, it flips. The cholesterol, the turn molecules then go into your bloodstream, into the liver, and in the liver, you add a hydroxyl group to it. You add a little chemical to it, and that chemical reaction binds to it. See the little red things binding on there? If the liver doesn't do that, you don't prepare the vitamin D for where it needs to ultimately end up, which is in your kidneys. It leaves the liver, heads into the kidneys, and you add another one of these little water molecules on top of it, and they stick there, that becomes the mature, active, final version of vitamin D. So one more time, there are three things that have to happen. You need to get sunlight through your skin in order to convert cholesterol to the first phase. Then your liver has to prepare it. It's like a kitchen. And then the third step is that it's got to have the kidney turn it on. So if your kidneys aren't working, if your liver's not working, if your skin's the wrong color for the amount of sun you're seeing, it can hinder your ability to get vitamin D. Now, why do I care? There are three different things that vitamin D is critical about. I'm going to talk about them. The first cancer that vitamin D may help prevent is colon cancer, because it takes the natural ability of cells to kill themselves off when they're not good, to commit suicide. It's called apoptosis. And if you don't allow the cancer cells to kill themselves off, they keep growing. So let's say this is a demonstration of an early cancer in your colon. The blue cells are normal. That's what they're supposed to look like. These deformed, ugly little things are cancer cells. They're damaged. They know they're not right, but they're not committing suicide because something's turned off in them. So what happens is vitamin D, this is the vitamin D, take that, pour it on top of there. Look what happens to the cancer cells. Now you can remind them to commit suicide. You see them dissolve away? And all the cancer cells are gone. The normal cells aren't hurt by it. That's what vitamin D can do. Right? It preserves your normal cells because they don't want to hurt themselves because they're normal. But it reminds the cancer cells you're not good. Allow the natural mechanisms, protective mechanisms of the body to work. Okay, got that clear?
Mm-hmm. I think.
That's colon cancer. The next type of cancer that I worry about a lot is breast cancer. Now, there's a study just came out this past summer that looked at vitamin D and breast cancer, and it shows that vitamin D interacts with genes inside of cancer cells and helps turn on proteins that kill off the cancer cell again. Now, to get into the cell is not easy. Most vitamins don't penetrate through the walls of a cell. This box is a cell. So you're going to take this vitamin, see, it's vitamin D. Take the vitamin D scissors. Okay. And go ahead. You're going to cut the top up here. Okay. As you cut through there, good. Now the cell opens the wall, right? And when it opens itself up, it peels over, and then it exposes the key nucleus here. So cut that off. And inside of that nucleus, the vitamin D has the ability to turn on a set of enzymes that flick on, a big cascade that implodes the cell. So again, you're allowing your vitamin D to work together with your natural protective mechanisms in your body. That's why it's so important to remember that it is the ultimate cancer-fighting vitamin. Okay, you can put that vitamin D version down. Now let's talk about the last problem that we face. And this is the last area. So we've talked about breast, talked about colon. Now let's talk about uterine. Put your gloves on if you don't mind. Uterine cancer, endometrial cancer, is very, very common. And one of the problems is that when you have endometrial tumors, they grow inside your uterus, and your body doesn't recognize it there. It's hiding. It's one of the most common cancers in women, especially in the reproductive area. And researchers have found that when you're heavy, you're especially prone to endometrial cancer. Now, why is that? Well, when you're obese, the vitamin D in the body gets sucked up. The obese cells, the fat cells, take the vitamin D, so less of it is available for you. So if you take go ahead and feel this. You see how magical it is, a healthy uterus? This doesn't have cancer, but on the inside of the uterus, see that lining? It's very delicate. Can you all see that? And that delicate lining, it's supposed to be thin like this. But if you don't have vitamin D present, because the fat has soaked it up, and the fat's also making estrogen, and testosterone is making different hormones, but especially estrogen, it stimulates this area to grow. But you don't have any way of cleaning it out, so you're stuck. And that tissue grows up, something you don't want. So, what are you going to do about it? What do you think?
Eat yogurt.
Eat yogurt. Why is that? Because you see the yogurt here?
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, unfortunately, the best source of vitamin D3, the kind that our body needs, besides the sun, is in pill form. So for most folks, taking 1,000 units a day is a smart place to start. What else works? Well, dairy products are rich in vitamin D because they're fortified. They're supplemented, so you can get them in cheeses and yogurts. Regular milk will have it as well. Reasonable source. Fish has vitamin D in it as well. Salmon, tuna, mackerel are great sources. And these can become part of your diet. But at the end of the day, vitamin D in pill form becomes a foundation for what you need for your better well. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Right. Have you had a colonoscopy yet?
Yes.
Oh, good. Well, at least with that low vitamin D, there's something.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You can head to DrOz.com for more information on all the benefits of vitamin D. We'll be right back.